Hey, IceBerg. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. Tell us how you got started with Lego.
Lego became a hobby for me through my little one, Kyan, Lego Spidey. Together, we used to build sets together. We first started building Lego after we saw the movie Batman, Lego movie Batman. Um, and my man wanted to get the Batmobile, so I went to the store, bought the Batmobile, put the Batmobile together, and ever since then, I've been, Lego's been a part of my life.
Such an awesome story. Tell us how you got started in the Lego community and in social media.
So from there, I was hooked. I started buying sets, putting them together. I found that there was a community on Instagram, and I saw something that I liked, and I was able to create it. And from there, and that was like 3 years ago. I've been part of this Lego community that's online. Adults like myself, sharing, a love of their hobby, of their childhood sets. Or even making art like myself. I grew up as an art student, so this was a second chance of, creating something on a canvas, like Lego.
How did you enter the door of the AFOL community through social media? Tell us about Philly Brickfest and the contacts that you made.
So, like I mentioned before, the community that's on Instagram, and it was funny because I was able to follow, a couple people that were on YouTube and on Instagram, and they said, "Hey, look, we're going to be down at Philly Brickfest." Well, I used to be from that area, so I'm like, all right, I'll take a drive and go meet these people, and they were giving out sig figs. And so I went and collected like at least about four sig figs of people that I never met before. I was so starstruck, and looking at all the Lego in this convention hall really had my creative juices flowing. Really opened up a door for me to explore this medium.
Tell us about how the persona of IceBerg came about.
So immediately after the show, I was able to actually sit down and really study the culture of what an AFOL is. And, I had some bumps and bruises along the way. I did some no-nos. I did, and made a few people mad along the way. But how Iceberg Bricks came to pass was that, I was a young guy in college and was trying to pledge at one point, and they kept the guys, the brothers, they kept teasing me about the jeans that I wore, which were Iceberg Slim. The jeans, they were designer jeans, and so they kept calling me Iceberg Slim, Iceberg Slim. And so I had an Instagram name, Iceberg Slim, and it hit me when I went to Philly Brickfest. I went to go find somebody, and his name was MD Brick MD, and I noticed him, and he said, "Hey, yeah, I know you. You're Iceberg, right? You're Iceberg Slim." And I never really had anybody call me that outside of that fraternity. And lo and behold, Iceberg Bricks became a creation, and it's a movement that's been going strong for 3 years now. And so that was the creation of my alter ego, Iceberg Bricks.
How did you size yourself up and your talents to the others in the community?
So I made it a mission to immerse myself in the culture by going to conventions and displaying at conventions. So I came up with three creations that I took to Virginia Brick Fair. Um, and I went to Philly Brick Fest and met all those YouTubers, and I displayed there too. And it inspired me. The first year I displayed at Philly Brick Fest, it inspired me to build better. And in 2019, I decided to build this Avengers Tower that looked different from everybody else's, and I lucked up and won. Um, and then later on, I I was a fan of the Lego Master Show in Australia. So I was wondering when it was coming to the US. And then lo and behold, you get news that it's hitting. It's coming to the US. So I decided to apply. And the one person that came to mind was the guy that was displaying with me at Philly Brick Fest and at Virginia Brick Fair, which was a BX Bricks or Jermaine. Every time I looked over my shoulder at these conventions, he was right there. They always display, we always end up displaying close to one another, which I thought was cool. And so we were able to forge a friendship over the few years, but we never ever build together. And so I went to him and I asked him, I said, look, man, this show's coming. Would you be my partner? And he said he was on board. And so, we went through the trials and the tribulations of auditioning for the first time in any type of TV show. And it was pretty surreal, man. When we went to the audition in LA, we're looking around and I'm asking Jermaine, dude, do you believe that this is happening? And win, lose, or draw, with me and Jermaine, win, lose, or draw, we were feeling like small fish in a big pond, right? And because there was so much talent in that room, it was a lot of talent, and we were happy with what we built. We know we were laying our talent down on the line, right? But in a sense, it's like, all right, well, maybe this is where the bus stops. This is our stop right here. This is our stop, and maybe this is as far as we're gonna go. But then later on, we're back home living our lives. We get a call. Hey, look, make plans. You're on the show. We want this, and this. And I called Jermaine, and I'm screaming like a little girl, screaming like, because I believe that this dream is about to happen. So now, this dream, it just ain't for me. It's for the person that I started this journey with, that little boy. And so, it takes into a whole new meaning, because that dream that I have is his, because now he gets to see someone he knows on that TV screen. So this is a big deal for me. So we get the casting call, we're in. And, me and Jermaine fly out to LA to do the show, start the show. And it's so surreal, man. It is, man. They really treat you like an LA celebrity star out there, man. And let me tell you, they had people lined up to get your Starbucks order. So, I'm going to use every benefit that's coming to me. I'm going to use that. A mocha and an oatmeal with berries in it. All the way. But, it's so surreal. I never been to LA before. And so I don't know what to expect, man. The life, the scenery out there was just so amazing. And I'm there with my dude, Jermaine. And, it is so surreal. One night, I think it was like the first night that we finally got there and we're finally at the hotel. It's probably 1:00 in the morning. It was a long day of meeting everybody that was on set and everything. And they doing all the your glamour shots and all that, making you look, real important. Jermaine called me and it was like 1:30 in the morning. Now, mind you, we got to be up like at 5:30, so we're up, on the set at 6. He's calling me saying, hey, man, you looking at this right now? Looking at what? Only thing I'm looking at is the back of my eyelids, bro. What do you want? He said, there's a fire out there. There's a fire out there. Look out there. This building's engulfed in flames. So I look out. This thing is like 20, 30 blocks away. Now, it's a pretty going fire, right? It's a pretty big fire, but it's 20, 30 blocks away. And so he goes, what should we do? I said, go to bed. Oh, man, it's a fire right now. I said, yeah, but it's not over here. But it could come over here. When it get here, somebody be here to knock on your door or call your phone like you called mine. Goodbye. But I think it was more, to me, I think it was more for Jermaine than that fire. It was just a wake-up call for him that, him pinching himself. Man, like, our dream is really happening. This is happening now. and it's going to go fast, and we got to be ready for it.
That sounds like an awesome experience. Please tell us more about your opportunity on set at Lego Masters.
So, we start to get into the motions of, meeting, the staff and the producers and the rest of the cast and everything like that, and even the brick masters and everything. And everything is great. Everything was going great. We actually start getting into the challenges and everything. And, I don't need to go into that, but because you already seen the show. But each day of the show was just like we were all just a happy big family, and being a part of that. And like, I would be remiss if I didn't even say anything, but I think that the producers did their homework with trying to make this whole competition diverse. And you can look at the cast and see that they represent everything that is the United States of America. You have different gender preferences, you have different color on there, you have different walks of life, people that have money, people that lived in poverty, that grew up to get what they have. So you got all types of walks of life on that platform. And I think that the producers did well with picking the right personalities that were going to mesh well and give America a good show.
When I say Lego Master, what does that mean to you?
So what it means to me to be a Lego master and to be on the show and represent, you know, like I said, I'd be remiss if I hit it, but to represent one of many Black Americans who happen to, love Lego, and that's really unheard of in our culture, because we're forced into sports, we're forced into being an entertainer. So if you can't say a dope rhyme, or slam a ball, make a mean J, or even run a touchdown, you're not considered to be a hero. And so, mind you, I have this 5-year old looking at me as a hero on this platform. So when he turns the TV on and watch Lego Masters, he sees his hero representing him. So I have to do my best to not, number one, tarnish that image, because he's going to see me in that light forever. The people in my community will see me in that image forever. The people that look like me, the little boy that looks like me, that hopefully will one day be on that show in my place, will see me and say, hey, look, if he can do that, so can I. If they include him, they can include me. And I think that inclusion is a big part when you're talking about being a community and being together. I had a chance to compete on one of the nation's top shows, and so can you, because I look just like you.
So let's backtrack for a little bit. Tell us about the relationships that you made along the way.
So on my quest for more knowledge of being an AFOL, I was able to meet up with a cool group called the DMV Bros. We named ourselves that because it was the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. We were scattered out through that area, and every Saturday morning we would meet up in Virginia at a diner to, eat breakfast in the morning and then run over to the local mall to hit the Lego store. We did that every Saturday morning. And I enjoy those dudes. It was James, it was Jeff, Rob, and Harold. Those dudes, I miss those dudes a lot. Yeah, and I say I miss those dudes because two are servicemen, and they're heroes for us. And they're serving their country right now, so they're living abroad right now. And then two guys, you kind of like, when a group split apart, you kind of split apart for differences. And yeah, we had a miscommunication in somewhere along the line, and so friends part, and some of it was probably me and some of it was some others, but I don't hold no ill will towards those guys. I wish those guys were still in this area. I wish I was spending my Saturday mornings with those dudes, because they were real and I had a good time with them. and I learned a lot from those dudes. And it was about, to me, it was about being a family. And I think that was the startup to this broken bridge. And I say that because I had a broken bridge in my own family. Like my mom and dad had split at a young age, and so my dad moved on to make another family. And me and my dad really didn't have too much to say to each other. He wasn't around, and so then I had an older brother. He left at when I was like probably about 9. He left to go live with my dad and went into the service. And I had a younger brother, a half brother, that I didn't grow up to do those brother things. So, you're talking about a kid who's at home with mom and dad's not around, and the two brothers that would be in his life isn't in their life, and I don't have a relationship with them now. Is that was the broken bridge that was ready to break when Jermaine said, hey, look, this guy, I do anything for this guy, that this guy's like my brother. When he said that to me, of course, you see me on, on the episode with the Bridges, crying, because that to me that was very sentimental, because that he filled a relationship that I never had. I'm 40 years old today, and I never had a one-on-one brother relationship, or like I have two brothers that have my last name, and we don't talk. They don't call me, we don't text, nothing. And so it was crushing for a stranger to say that. And so yeah, that messes with you a little bit. So that was a bridge that was ready to be broken, and that definitely hit hard.
So you live your life in an underdog mentality. Tell us more about that.
So most of my life, it always seemed to be, almost but never quite. And I kind of felt that way when we were at me and Jermaine were at the audition. And it felt like that we were coming to the end of the line, and I was cool. I said, well, we did our best, and I'm ready to, say, all right, well, it's time back to real life. And then the reset button hit and it says you're on the show. So it's like our hopes are up, right? Our hopes are up, and so we're going through show after show, and we're realizing, man, I'm looking at Jermaine looking at me. It's like, dude, we got the potential to be in the top 3 if we play our cards right and we get through each challenge. We can be in that top 3. We can get to the final in that top 3, and that was our mission. Now, here's the thing. Here's another broken bridge. The reality is that me and Jermaine had already accepted that, okay, they're probably not gonna let two dudes from the street win their first challenge. They just probably not. And you got top of the line builders, there, but they, for TV purposes, and trying to have a season 2, 3, and 4, we're probably not gonna be the Lego master. It'll be, it's gonna be a tough game to do. So we knew it wasn't going to come our way easy. And so, but what I'm saying to you is that's a broken bridge right there. Just having that doubt is a broken bridge. We knew we can get to the final, but we had that broken bridge saying, okay, we're probably not going to win the whole shebang. That's a broken bridge because there's that slight doubt. And so in my life, I always had that broken bridge. When I was young, played basketball, I was probably one of the best ballers in my neighborhood. But then, you play organized ball where you're playing teamwork, and all I knew was self ball. And so that was my broken bridge, was that, okay, well, I play these little leagues, and I'm be the one to score all the points and play all the defense and everything, because I was slightly bigger than other kids. And that was a broken bridge because I never learned teamwork. So when I got to high school, I still didn't learn teamwork. So then, I decided to bow out of playing high school basketball and stuck with track. So I'm giving track my all. I'm doing well. I find myself year after year in the state finals, but never quite exactly win the individual title myself. And that was a broken bridge. I do college, I do college track, never quite actually get there all the way, and that's another broken bridge. So it seemed like I decided to be a police officer, right? And cutting through my first job, it seemed like they never gave me the benefit of doubt. It was always a hard way to go. It was like they always expect the worst in you, and at a certain point, if people are always pointing at you, for the worst things and stuff like that, you intend to become that at some point, you try to face the opposite direction and say, no, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna prove you wrong. But at the end of the day, you're in an environment of who cares? Who cares if you held a summer camp with 80 kids, and your pocket, the money that you spent on the camp came out of your own pocket, right? Who cares you did that? Who cares? But you were late for work or whatever, or you're behind a report, so we're gonna write you up, stuff like that. This, the small stuff, and so you become consumed with that negative energy that is given out to you, and that's a broken bridge. Um, so it always seemed to be that things almost happened for me, but never quite finished. Even to a point where I found myself in a leadership and running a police department one time, and a guy told me, this is what he told me. He told me that he said, "Hey man, you got everything that we want. With community service. You're out there in the community, learning the people. You're a good cop. You're doing everything you want. You're everything that we want in a leader. The only problem is that you're too young to be a chief." And so he went and got his old guy and to be his chief. And the old guy only lasts for about a year and a half, and he fired him. Why? Because he didn't do those things that young guy wanted. That's a broken bridge. And so it comes to a point where you meet your breaking point, and you either hang on for more disappointment, or you get off. And so after 18 years, I decided to call it quits on my law enforcement career. I decided to do something else. And I think that this opportunity with Lego Masters helped me to see with a clear eye view of what possibilities could come my way, and stop holding on to a broken bridge. In law enforcement, and it pains me to walk away because I know I have so much more to offer, but it pains me because, each experience that I can tally up as a good experience, there's always a negative experience. And I tally up a good experience, and here come a negative experience. And so it comes to a point where you're fighting demons, and you just got to walk away because you're going to say something that you're going to regret. You're going to do something that you're going to regret. So I'd rather leave out on a good note than to leave on a negative one. And so, but that's a broken bridge. That's one of my broken bridges that I bear. So we're coming up on episode 6, and we had our plan mapped out. And we're going to build this bridge with 2 beams that were supposed to flex and everything, and we're doing it. I'm building supports, and the story is that I end up building 3 different supports, 3 different supports, 4 of them 3 times, I should say, four sets, 3 times. Trying to get the right angle, and I spend a lot of time doing it instead of doing something else. And that actually got in the way, because when you get into that last hour, you're trying to hurry up and get the bridge on. You're trying to, and so you forget about the 2 plates that were supposed to go on the bridge. You just forgot because you're trying to get the supports on, trying to hold it up. And off the break they tell you, hey, look, you're going to be eliminated. You're going to be eliminated. You got these 2 plates that's not on there, and that's against the rules. You're going to be eliminated. So it was tough, man. Let me tell you, that episode was tough, because here's what was going through my mind. The whole world is going to see me and Jermaine as a failure. We We talked a big game. We proved that we can hang, because we were competitive, but we had so much more to offer, and now nobody's gonna believe us or even see what we had to offer at this point because our ride is coming to an end. And that's a broken bridge that we have to bear. And so we're sitting there and they're going through the motions. We're watching other people's bridge, and you're trying to, stay positive for the other teams, but they already got your plane ticket already printed, and you're going home. And so, and it's tough to stay in character and be happy. And when it's time for us to step up to our bridge and watching the weight go on, and at certain point, there's a possibility this stuff is holding, this bridge is holding weight. It is. It's a possibility, and it's going to be pretty tough if we beat. And I'm thinking if we beat Sam and Jess's weight on here, because we already matched it. They're at 125. We're at 125 with a half-built bridge. And so I'm saying all we need is another 25 more. And now at this point, it'll probably be pretty tough for anybody to make a decision to vote us off because our bridge still held more weight, even though we violated these rules, right? But the bridge goes, not that much hope. Like I said, things almost happen for me and not always happen for me. They almost happen, but never quite do. And that's the broken bridge that I bear.
Tell me more about these broken bridges.
So when we talk about crossing broken bridges, it was a tough pill to swallow the way that me and Jermaine were probably portrayed on that show as being, the tough guys and stuff like that, and being an antagonist, because you got to have a little antagonist, because in reality TV show, there's that drama story. They want to tell good stories, right? And so, we had no play. If that was our part, okay, we'll play that part. And so, but where I have a disconnect is that, if they come up with a story saying, hey, for once, like the Babygate situation, they tried I feel that it was a tarnish against my image. I don't have to cheat for anything. I don't. And being that I am a police officer, that's an image that I hold, and I think that from there it was a tough pill for me to swallow when I saw that story was unfolding like that. Now, mind you, I'm in a competition. I have to respect the brick masters, and I have to respect what they say and everything. So I'm not talking back to anybody, showing disrespect. This is the way I was brought up. But at the same time, the story that they're unspinning, they're spinning away. I didn't agree. I didn't agree with. I didn't sign up for that. You told me that this was a show about a competition. You didn't tell me about how my image could be tarnished behind the story that you're trying to tell. So when we talk about broken bridges, I felt that my bridge was already broken behind the stories that they were leading up to that moment. And then I have to cross that broken bridge to reach back and get that little one, my little grandson that's looking at me, to let him know that it's okay. It's okay that your Mel lost this competition. It's okay because one day you're going to do something greater than I was able to do. And that is a tough lesson. And I know that like total, everybody in America, they become this expert about building Lego, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. Nobody's taking it away from you. But when you throw hateful comments, or, I see articles that are legit because the producers are giving them exclusive content, and they're bashing me and Jermaine and have no clue because, you can't catch everything that was built. You can't catch every detail that every build on a 45-minute TV show, because you're trying to, tell something that happened that took about 20 hours of production time into 45 minutes. And so people are only seeing a small picture of everything blended in. And so it looks like, hey, maybe Mel and Jermaine are mediocre, and they are, putting this in the paper or on their website or on their channel. That's a tough pill to swallow, because again, I'm crossing that broken bridge to reach back for the little guy that's looking at me. I think that right there is my biggest fear, is because he's going to see what these people are writing, and they have half of a story and not the full scope of what's going on in a competition or a show about a competition.
What advice would you give to Lego Spidey?
So my advice to my future, which is my grandson, would be to go after the dreams that you're trying to go after. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do what you want to do. If they tell you no, use that as motivation and get it anyway. Get it the way they say that you couldn't get it. That would be my motivation to that little guy. And one day, I think that he will be a Lego master, whether being on that show or not being on that show. And maybe that's not his dream. Maybe he does want to, run back a football or have a mean, wicked jump shot. Maybe. And if that's the case, I'm there to support him. I am going to be the person that runs across that broken bridge to save him.
Any words for the people that support you, for the people that follow you, people that believe in you?
I just want to thank my viewers for all the support. 3 years strong. We're coming up on our YouTube anniversary, and I'm trying to pump out sustainable content and keep people interested, and just be relevant. I want to be immersed in this culture. I love the Lego AFOL community, and I love its culture. From the Lego conventions, Brick Cascade was amazing. Amazing. I only been to a few, but Brick Cascade was amazing. The people that ran it were amazing. The people that were displaying were amazing. People that came out, traveled hours just to meet us, were amazing. And so that feeling that that you belong, that you matter. Yeah, I think that's worth it. And so that I want my little guy to feel that same feeling. And that's why this is the reason why I'm running across that broken bridge, is to save him.